I've seen quite a bit of negative responses and reactions to this film all over the web. Rotten Tomatoes hasn't meant anything to me since The Woman King had a 100% rating before it even came out. That movie, The Woman King, is a far worse film than Scream 7. As a black person who has seen it, I can say that losing no sleep. That is objectively true. According to Rotten Tomatoes people, though, The Woman King is better than Citizen Kane and the Hobbit trilogy, at least when it first launched. So that cesspool had no influence on my expectations. Something else that had no influence on my fandom of the franchise or expectations was the lunacy surrounding Melissa Barrera. She said stuff and got fired. Feel how you want about it. For me, none of that comes to mind or matters when I say that Melissa Barrera is not a good actress. She cannot act. I don't understand how she made it as far as she did. Her skill is not movie theater mainstream ready acting. It's the same fucking face for every scenario. I thought nothing but positive things about the story of Scream following her exit. I was a little down about Ortegs also leaving, but I'm not losing any sleep over it. It's a fucking Scream. The franchise belongs to Neve Campbell. When there is a Scream without her involvement, it isn't Scream. See Scream 6. It's a cheap-ass horror film with the Scream ghost face mask in it. The only way it could be anything else, as proven in not only previous film, but in theory, is if you bring back the dead. Let's be real about this whole thing. Jenna Ortega carried Scream for 5 and 6, not Melissa Barrera. Stop lying to yourself. On to the movie itself. Overall, I like it. I enjoyed it. I will enjoy it in the future, as I will watch it more than once. What's fairer, in my opinion, is to start with what I dislike. The biggest and most glaring, what I think annoys most naysayers, is the whodunit, the killer. If I wrote this script, there would undoubtedly been a different killer for the ending. I'm aware of the rewrites, I'll come back to it. The other thing that I think will just make people instantly hate the film is the inclusion of AI. It's a means of communication of the killer stalking Sydney. The AI thing is not my favorite, but it didn't ruin the film. Scream has always been about meta within itself while encased in the real world going on. This is more evident with the discussions of scary movies throughout. The AI was, however, overused. At least in my opinion. Matthew Lillard returns, but why? Here's the thing. If Stu is going to be for real alive, then we are entering Michael Myers territory. Meaning Stu, for some reason, has superhuman survival abilities. Because Stu was no doubt fucking dead by the end of the original. A choice like that would be ruinous to the franchise. Stu was a dumbass kid that got carried away with his friend Billy. Ghostface is not a ghost. Always a normal, regular human with a usually solid motive behind it. Ghostface is not Freddy or Jason or Michael Myers, you get what I'm saying? The AI could have been more limited and used in a more creative way. This aspect of the movie feels like it was an idea early on, but it feels like a little bit of an old concept to me. Deep fakes and whatnot, Maybe that's why it feels like an early idea. I mean, the AI part would have been timed better in our real life timeline for about the time Scream 5 came out. Anyway, what does not feel like an idea early on is who was chosen as the killer for the story. In my head, this is definitely due to rewrites, and I think they were probably thinking somewhere along the lines that I was thinking to make this solid. This should have turned into the elimination of Samantha and Tara. It felt like at the end of Scream 6, Samantha had gaslit her half-sister into being a baddie bitch with her. I honestly felt like they were going to go on a killing spree for this next installment. So if I had wrote this, meaning had I wrote the movie, I would have not fired Melissa Barrera. I would have told her, please, shut the fuck up when you're working in real life and on social media. We got a movie to make. When we're done, do what you want. Then I would have killed her. Her character in the movie, I mean. It felt like Samantha Carpenter was about to go on a killing spree at the end of Scream 6, no matter what, whether Tara went with her or not. For whatever reason, like she had this realization of who she was or meant to be, like she was meant to be a serial killer like her father. The trauma of Sidney Prescott laid upon her shoulders, beginning with her father, being Samantha's father, is the same trauma that hangs around her neck. So Samantha becomes Ghostface, and with her half-sister sidekick sets out to kill Sidney Prescott. Now, how do you do that with a short or tags? Be creative. If I spent more time on it, I'd come up with it alone. I'm sure you people can under the payroll. It feels like such a great way to get the franchise back on track, at least to me. Sydney kills both Tara and Samantha, and we move on. This story could have been like Samantha and Tara stalking Sydney's daughter to kill her and whatnot, as like a means of revenge against Sydney because of her father. Because of Samantha's father, I mean, being Billy Loomis, who was Sydney's boyfriend in the original. And here's the thing, before anyone asks why does that make sense? Why does even the ending of how the movie ended up make sense? Because Scream is Neve Campbell. Scream is Sidney Prescott. The entire universe exists because of her, not because of Ghostface. I said in my previous Scream video, there is something about Neve that makes it easy to invest in her characters in movies. That flows through the character of Sidney Prescott Evans. It's pretty crazy to think about. The meta of it all. It's like she was made for the Scream franchise, you know? Or her talents were, at least. For me, this is why I forgive who the killer is in Scream 7. Sidney Prescott Evans has an effect on every single person around her. For almost everyone she encounters, they are either about to die or trying to kill her and her loved ones. I mean, think about it, if Sidney Prescott were a real person and this shit really happened on planet Earth, the world of that generation would forever be obsessed with her. She'd get pranked, harassed, new evil people trying to kill her, neighbors freaking out, and so on. I mean, people do this type of thing. This is the Scream franchise. Sidney Prescott is not allowed to live a normal life. It's said in this movie, or something along the lines of it, Sidney is trauma. That is her purpose in existing. Everyone wants to be a part of it in one way or another, as a protector, a preserver, or a zealot. She is not meant to escape this trauma, but I do believe she's meant to survive it. As for Scream 8, I hope they lock in. It will be unforgivable to bring a very dead character back to play a very alive role. It would be unforgivable to introduce yet another new character and assign them as the killer behind the mask, or killers. Do not use AI again, and if you do, make it minimal. I say to make Scream 8 outstanding and revive the franchise, bring back Ortegs and Barrera. Make them the killers. Kill Randy's relatives. It seems they left it open to do something like this. It should have happened already. This is what should have happened in Scream 7 in my opinion. The showdown between Billy Loomis's child and her half-sister and Sydney and squad is the right call. I've seen people try to get ahead of the game and say the daughter and Randy's kids are the primary thing for Scream 8. It can't be only focused on them because Sydney and Gail are still alive. The obsession is Sydney. Sydney's daughter is nothing more than a lure to get to Sydney. She's never gonna be the main character. Why would she be? She's just now finding out she can shoot a gun. No one's even after her. The obsession is Sidney Prescott. And Sydney and Gail are the tag team champions of the franchise. Something like Scream 4 would have to be in play, like high school or college setting mainly, but Sydney is at the house or whatever. I'm not gonna build that deep right now. Either way, bringing back the Carpenters is the best way to go. We shall see. This movie had a mostly good story. Sydney is somehow still insecure and doesn't want her kid to know the insanity she's been through. The details, the real story. The dialogue is mostly consistent with all of the films, though I don't think they brought up Emma Roberts. Come to think of it, she wasn't at all brought up. That's interesting. Anyway, Sydney, just so desperate to move on, was very reminiscent of Jamie Lee Curtis in H2O. Speaking of it, this film has so many nods to horror movies. Psycho was the nod I appreciated the most. Her daughter, Sydney's daughter, is a teenage daughter. Total asshat with some good reasoning. She is in the middle of understanding who she is as a person and as a daughter, and who her mom is, or barely beginning to understand who her mom is. And this actress did very well with the role. Randy's family was not bad this go-round. Didn't bother me at all. And the idea of them and Sydney's daughter going head-to-head against Samantha and Tara can be a top-tier plot. It can't be like some kid that one of them went to school with we've never seen before or something like that. It can't be somebody that they bring back from one of the movies that was in it for like 2 minutes. Anyway, the emotional weight of this movie makes it good for me. I said in the last video that what we feel as the audience in Scream 1 is what works so well. The focus on the victims, what they go through, and the loss their loved ones deal with. This is also prevalent in this movie and it makes it easy to relate and keep engaged. Sydney is still fucked up. And the moment her and Gail bring up Dewey, dude, that made the hair on my arms stand up. Because Courtney Cox and David Arquette were real. And when you see her in character break down at the mention of her ex-husband, Dewey, you can't help but really feel that shit. If you've been on this ride the whole time, or you're just a pop culture geek that loves Friends, that shit hit. And this is where Scream is at its best. On top of that, there were also a couple of entertaining kills. Very creative stuff, funny, entertaining, haha. Was Scream 8 better than Scream 3? Yes, in my eyes, that's a W.
We're leaving.